Aloha and welcome to Hawaiian at Heart. We are just going to go on to Hawaiian time for the next minute or two as we welcome all of our participants that are joining us. Aloha, Lynn. There's another fellow Hawaiian at Heart friend. Hi, Kaylee. Nice to see you. I invite you to drop in the chat where you are joining us from. What tropical island? Where are you in the world today? Oh, I like that. I'm imagining I'm on the island of Maui too. But I like to pretend like I'm in Hawaii all the time. Welcome from the U.S. Virgin Islands to Shamika and in Haleakala in the vortex of awakening. I love that. Lynn's joining us from the island of Sacramento and secretly hoping that she was on the island of Oahu. Well, as you can see from my background, that I like to pretend that I'm in Hawaii every day. I truly embrace that Hawaiian state of mind, that aloha spirit warms my heart every day. So no matter where you are joining us live on this talk today, or any of you that are going to be listening to the recording, I just want to give you a huge aloha welcome to Hawaiian at Heart. So I am Cindy Molina. I'm the author of Chapter 17 of the Great Leadership Awakening book, and I'm so thrilled to say that I am a best-selling published author as of last Friday, when Haley and the amazing Soul Excellence team launched our book on Amazon. So thank you, mahalo, for all of you that are joining this talk, and a special mahalo if you've already read the chapter. So if you want to use the reactions on the bottom of your screen, or if you're joining on your mobile phone, I'd love to see a thumbs up or a heart if you've actually already read the Hawaiian at Heart chapter. Oh, I see some hearts. Awesome. Well, mahalo. Thank you for reading the chapter in advance. Well, I'm just going to give you some highlights for my chapter. I don't want to spoil the happy ending for you, and just give you a chance to know what to expect when you do read my chapter. Awesome. Shamika's making her way through the book. That's awesome. So the first paragraph says, Aloha from Southern California. Well, I live in San Diego, but I'm actually in Houston, Texas on a work business trip right now. So, but normally I call San Diego my home. And in my chapter, I start off by saying mahalo for the opportunity to share some of the lessons learned from my midlife awakening with you. May this chapter warm your heart with the spirit of aloha and fill the next few minutes of your life with some inspiration and motivational messages to pack in your own beach bag and take with you on your journey in life. So one of the things that I want to share with you is that I love to collect quotes. In fact, every morning I wake up at 4 a.m. and as part of my morning habit stack, my morning ritual, I go make a cup of coconut mocha coffee and I sit in bed and I go through my social media accounts and I collect screenshots of inspirational quotes, motivational messages, beautiful tropical photos. And I actually have an album on my phone with all of this inspiration. So first life lesson and best practice I'd like to share with you is to find something that you are passionate about. For me, it's all things Hawaii. The culture, the people, the food, the music, the scenery. I absolutely love everything there is to love about Hawaii. And so you can create an inspirational album on your phone of quotes, of messages, screenshots, photos. So whenever you need a little mental vacation to your favorite getaway, you can go right on your phone and look through those inspirational quotes or beautiful background scenery. As I shared, my backdrop is this Hawaiian backdrop, and I have it on all of my Teams and Zoom calls every single day and every meeting. So when I'm staring at myself at the screen, it just puts a smile on my face when I see those palm trees and the beautiful waters of the Pacific Ocean and the sand. So another tip I'll share with you is just surround yourself with whatever you're passionate about. For me, it's Hawaii. So my entire home is decorated in Hawaiian decor. My the car that I drive, you probably won't be surprised, is a convertible, and it has a hula dancer on the dashboard, and my license plate says Aloha on it. So some people like to go to Hawaii for vacation, and it's an amazing vacation, the best one they've ever had, but we all can't live on the island of Hawaii. So I've brought Hawaii and I have integrated it into my life in every little way that I can, so that if I just need to look around and get some tropical inspiration, I'm surrounded by it. So I first went to Hawaii my senior year in high school. I went to the island of Oahu, where Lynn was talking about her the last place that she visited and one of her favorite places. And I was introduced to Hawaii and the music and the scenery, and I just fell in love. And throughout college and my 20s and 30s, I've always had career where I've traveled a lot for business. So I have accumulated lots of frequent flyer points and hotel points. So the last 3 decades of my life, I've intentionally chose to spend my vacation in my favorite place on earth, in the Hawaiian Islands, because it's the one place where I just feel like I can truly relax and just get away from it all. So I have been working in corporate America for over 33 years, and I am in the talent development, organizational development space. So some companies have called it human resources. I call it people and culture at my company. And I'm the director. So I have spent the last 3 decades learning all there is to know about training people and helping organizations develop. And I absolutely love my job. I love what I do. I work really hard, a lot of hours. And so when it's time for me to take my annual vacation or summer vacation, I want to go to a place where I can go off the grid. And for me, that's Hawaii, because the culture in Hawaii, they're on island time. So they're just known for their laid back, hang loose type of culture and attitude. And I just love being able to go over there and decompress, get off the grid, not remember what day of the week it is, get off my laptop or my phone and just enjoy. That's what vacations are all about, right? It's just being able to relax and go on fun adventures. And in Hawaii, there's so much to do. So I started going on vacations every year and fell in love with Hawaii. And as I spent my years getting to know myself and developing that self-awareness, I started becoming really intentional about where I travel, the type of music I listen to, the people I want to hang out with. And when I first met my husband, he had never been to Hawaii. And we were talking about our wedding day and where to honeymoon. And I said, well, I want to go to my favorite place, Hawaii. He's like, don't you want to go somewhere else? You've been there so many times. I'm like, no, but my Hawaiian honeymoon has to be bigger, better, longer than my annual 2-week vacation. So let's go for 3 weeks. And because you've never been, I think we should go to all the islands on your first visit. And so that's what we did. So we spent a week, the first week in Kaanapali on the island of Maui. And Maui is one of my favorite islands in Hawaii. So I wanted my new husband, my only husband, to see Maui first. And then after that, we went over to Oahu, which is where my parents honeymooned years ago. And we stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, the one that has the big rainbow tower. And you can see the peak of Diamond Head, the volcano in the background, right on Waikiki Beach. And we spent a few days there, and then we boarded an 11-day cruise on Norwegian, and we went to every single island. So on my husband's first trip on our honeymoon, he got to hit all the Hawaiian Islands, his first time, where it took me years to be able to say I've been to all of the islands. So when we were planning to have children, I told my husband that, oh, first of all, back to our honeymoon. So my husband just went along with the idea. I wanted to have matching Hawaiian outfits. So we went to Hilo Hattie, and for our honeymoon, I got us every single outfit they had in a dress and a Hawaiian shirt. So my husband was a great sport. And for 3 weeks, he wore matching Hawaiian aloha shirts and a matching dress. And on that cruise on our honeymoon in Hawaii, I took hula lessons, and I got to work with a Hawaiian naturalist, and I took hula lessons every day. And the last night on the ship, I performed hula in front of 1,500 cruise passengers. So that's where I first discovered just my love for Hawaiian dancing. So when my husband and I were planning our marriage, our life together, we knew that we wanted children. And I said to him, if we have a girl, I want her to be a hula dancer. And so when she was born, our first daughter, Ella, came out with, my husband is half Filipino, half Mexican. So he has beautiful tan skin. In fact, if you put a Hawaiian shirt on him with some kukui nuts, he looks like a Hawaiian. He looks like an island boy. So my daughter has his resemblance, and she came out, and I looked at my daughter and I said, oh, she looks like a little Hawaiian hula dancer. So I have 2 daughters, Ella and Emma. They're 15 and 11. And as soon as they started walking, we had them learning how to dance hula. So they were with a halau, a hula school in San Diego, and they got to perform so many different luau's and shows all around Southern California. And it was just one of the joys of my life, watching my daughters up on stage perform at these Pacific Islander festivals and Hawaiian festivals. And I would always cry, and my daughters would say, Mommy, why are you crying? And I said, they're tears of coconuts. They're tears of joy. So my daughters danced up until COVID. And then when COVID hit during the pandemic, they took a pause on dancing, and now they're very involved with softball and soccer and volleyball. And so for years after we got married back in 2004, we would try to go to Hawaii as often as possible. And the last 5 visits, I actually went to the big island of Hawaii instead of Maui, which I told you was my favorite island. And the big island of Hawaii, especially on the Kona side where I'm most familiar, has a resort just north of the airport by about a half an hour called Hilton Waikoloa Village. And the first time I went to this resort, I was amazed. It's like Disneyland in Hawaii. In fact, it was actually designed by Disney engineers. So you can actually take what looks like a Disneyland monorail to your building at the resort, or you can choose to take one of the boats that go through the property. So the room that I like the best is in the lagoon tower overlooking the Dolphin Lagoon. So the last 5 trips we've stayed in the same room, oceanfront room overlooking the Dolphin Lagoon. And it's just been an amazing experience to go back every time we go to Hawaii to my favorite place. So I'm jumping around a little bit. So this resort, Hilton Waikoloa Village, was the destination for my 49th birthday. We spent 2 weeks there. And why this vacation, this was so important, is because, and you'll read in my chapter, years earlier, when I was only 23, I was living at home with Mom and Dad, and my father was on a business trip. And when he landed in San Diego at the age of 48, he passed away of a heart attack. I was devastated. I was a daddy's girl, and when the sheriff came to our house in the middle of the night to tell me that he didn't make it, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could I go on without my dad? Who was going to walk me down the aisle at my wedding? What about the daddy-daughter dance? It just couldn't be. And so after my dad died, shortly thereafter, I decided to leave home and move up to San Francisco and throw myself into my career. And because I worked so much and traveled so much and had a really good job, that was how I was able to afford those annual trips to Hawaii. And I said to myself, if I make it to 49, because my dad died 10 days shy of his 49th birthday, I want to go to Hawaii. So I celebrated my 49th birthday at the Hilton Waikoloa Village on the Big Island of Hawaii. The day of my birthday, I was swimming with those dolphins that I looked at every day from my balcony, and we went to a big luau that night. My daughters did not perform. We were all guests, but in the audience, but it was just amazing. And I thought to myself, well, if I make it to 50, I want to have a big luau, just like I did when I turned 40. We had a big luau in our backyard. So I started the planning when we came back from that 49th birthday Hawaii vacation. Started planning for this luau actually years ago, but I really started focusing the planning once I had made it to 49. So the summer after I turned 49, I decided that I wanted to lose weight so I could be fit at 50. So I started exercising almost compulsively, running 3 to 5 miles a day, eating healthy, and I lost weight pretty quickly. I lost 50 pounds in the first 4 months and then 75 pounds over the next 2 months. So I achieved my initial goal to lose weight and be fit at 50. And then I started planning this luau. We redid our backyard. We planted all tropical plants that are found in Hawaii, like hibiscus and plumeria and palm trees. We redid our swimming pool. So the entire pool was redone, and I put Hawaiian sea turtles tiles in the bottom of the pool. So like I said in the beginning of this talk, anything I could do to bring Hawaii to me, I integrate into my life. So I started planning this big luau. I invited 150 friends and family. Most of them were from the guest list for my 40th birthday a decade earlier. And we got the backyard redone. We were all excited, looking forward to counting down the days. And my 50th birthday was April 23rd, 2020, a month after the COVID pandemic started. And so you can only imagine how sad I was, how heartbroken, how disappointed I was, losing all this weight, remodeling our backyard, sending out all the invitations, buying Hawaii 5-0 decorations and banners and balloons. And when I plan an event, I go all out, just like how I live life, all out. And I realized in early April that there's just no way it was going to be safe to have all these people travel and come in my backyard for this luau. So everyone kept telling me, you have to cancel. I'm like, I'm not canceling. I'll postpone it. You have to be intentional, right? With your words. Choose your words. Words matter. So I said, I'm going to be postponing this luau, which is what we did. And instead, we came up with a good enough plan. And so my dear friend Pam that I met before the pandemic leads a mindfulness community that I'm part of, and Lynn is part of it as well. And we call it MBox. And Pam used to guide meditations every morning at the beginning of the meditation, or in the beginning of the pandemic, on Zoom, 7 a.m. every morning. All these ladies would come together and we'd meditate together to help us cope with the stress of the pandemic. And so Pam taught me this concept called the good enough plan, because I always aim high. I am an overachiever, high performer. I set my goals really high. I'll admit, sometimes unreasonably high, but you got to aim high. And if you fall short, you're still better off than if you aimed low, right? So instead of the luau on my actual 50th, we had a Zoom, just like I'm having with all of you today. And everybody joined the Zoom for 2 hours and had cocktails, and we celebrated together virtually. And then this last April, when I turned 52, I was a Zoom luau, exactly. When I turned 52 last April, I finally got to have that 50th birthday luau. And so in my chapter, you'll read that there's a happy ending. I got to have the luau. All the decorations still said 50 on it, but it was on my 52nd birthday. And all of those friends that I had been practicing mindfulness on Zoom over the last 3 years all showed up to surprise me. Many of us had not met in person before. I had met this mindfulness community through the pandemic only on Zoom. So they were all in my backyard. And I thought to myself, if I would have had the original 50th birthday, none of those friends would have even been at my party. So there's always blessings. It's all how you look at life, right? Having that attitude of gratitude is so important. So we had the big luau. I danced a hula show with my daughters. We had taken hula lessons together for the last year, and my hula teacher, my kumu, she danced with us. We had a live Hawaiian band. We had a tiki bar. We had a full Hawaiian barbecue and luau. It was my dream come true. I finally got my 50th birthday luau. Had to be patient, had to wait 2 years, but it finally happened. There is a video of me hula dancing. I'll share it with you, Kaylee. So I want to just say that there are things that I've learned in life by practicing mindfulness, using essential oils, journaling, trying to write down at the end of every day a gratitude list of 3 things that were part of my day that brought me joy. And they could be big things or they could be little things. I like to read a lot. I like to collect quotes. In fact, in my chapter, I put a list of some of my favorite books. If you wanted to get started, you could add these books to your beach bag. And after I wrote the list of books, I started thinking, oh, I forgot this one. I forgot this one. There's so many more I could add. But A Pirate Looks at 50, Jimmy Buffett, and I'm a parrot head. I'm a Jimmy Buffett fan. I've been to his concert dozens of times all over the country. Wrote a book when he turned 50. Pirate Looks at 50, fun read. The next one, Aloha State of Mind, Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown, really developing that self-awareness of your emotions and how you feel. The Happiness Advantage is a great book that helps you to learn about how to retrain your brain to think positively and notice those things in life that bring you happiness and joy. My dear friend Scott Miller wrote several books, but the Master Mentor series is awesome. If you're busy like me and you don't have time to read all the New York Times bestseller, just buy Master Mentors. He has interviewed all of those amazing authors, and he has dedicated a chapter in his Master Mentor books to each one of those authors. And then he interviews them in a podcast, and you can just scan the QR code and then listen to the author giving you a recap of their book, just like our publisher Kaylee is doing with this Great Leadership Awakening virtual summit. So we all have a chapter and we all get a chance to talk about it. And so I recommend those books. And then my friend Maureen Ori wrote A Year of Resilience, 52 ideas to be more resilient and stay afloat throughout the year. And it's actually my friend Maureen that introduced me to Pam, which is how I got connected to the mindfulness. Small world. But every day we are presented with opportunities to connect the dots. People cross our path for a reason. So I invite you to identify what brings you joy. You know, when you go to the dentist and you're laying there in the chair ready to get your teeth cleaned and they say, close your eyes, relax, think of your happy place. What is your happy place? For me, you all know it's Hawaii. This picture is what's in my mind when I'm at the dentist. And so surround yourself with things that bring you inspiration in your life and take all of the lessons learned from my almost 53 years on the planet that I talk about in my chapter. And I invite you to try them, adding them into your life so that you can make your life more relaxing, peaceful, meaningful, and that you too have happiness and some Hawaiian spirit in your heart. So I see some questions in the chat. Well, somebody asked me for a hula move. I'll actually share with you a hula word that I learned from hula dancing, and you can make it a move, but it's actually my mantra, and I mention it in the book. It's called Emua. Emua means to move forward in life with courage and strength. If you're a hula dancer and you are dancing towards the audience, the hula kumu, the director might say, Emua, and that means all the dancers go to the front of the stage. But I think of Emua as my mantra, just meaning no matter what happens in life, no matter what setbacks, challenges, stressors, triggers, you got to move forward. Emua, continue moving forward in life with courage and strength. So there's a Hawaiian word, not necessarily a Hawaiian move, but you can make it a move. Happy place, walking on the Camino along the coast of Portugal with the wildflowers. I can picture that, Kaylee. Yes, Lisa, put the Great Leadership Awakening book in your tote bag. So I'm going to see if I can submit edits to my chapter, and I'm going to add that one to the list. That's so obvious, and I'm embarrassed that I missed it. Let's see. Lisa's going to celebrate her 20th anniversary in Mexico City for their 20th. And there was an earthquake. So we went 2 years later and called it 20+2 and got rings too. That's awesome. Yes. So I'm very sentimental and I like to celebrate things on the day, but the good enough plan is a great technique that you can pull out of your back pocket and you can still come up with a meaningful celebration. Love how everyone's being so resilient and flexible when it comes to their triggers in life. Mahalo. Okay, any other questions? We just have a couple minutes before we wrap up and I head to the airport to fly home to San Diego. Well, then I'm just going to invite you to buy The Great Leadership Awakening, either on digital or the paperback, read it, and think about what brings you joy. What is your special place, like Hawaii is for me? And surround yourself with it in every way so that whenever you need some inspiration, you don't have to look very far. It's right at your fingertips. With that, I'd like to say mahalo for coming to my talk. It was wonderful to have a live audience, and mahalo for everyone that's listening on this recording. And I just want to wish you all a huge aloha from my heart to yours.